Talking with Sean and Mike, continuing our conversation about purpose, community, and structure. And this segment is about community. And Sean, I want to start with you because I know you are, in some sense, the face of Chorus to a lot of your customers. You speak with them on a regular basis. So what have you been hearing over the last couple of weeks?
I heard a story of a C-suite leader, David, who, when I asked what was the highlight of the past week, she told of an 8-second point in time when she was surrounded by people and her colleagues. And in that moment, she was feeling the weight of the world, the insecurity, the doubt, the wondering if she even has what it takes to get the organization through the situation. And she said she felt so lucky because one of her colleagues simply leaned over and said, "I think you're doing a great job, and I feel really lucky that you're on our team." And as she told the story, I could feel the emotion kind of starting to well up, because in that 8 seconds, that 8 seconds of words, it was like she was recentered again and started to believe in herself in a kind of a new and deeper way. And she said, "Man, I felt so good in that moment." And in some ways, it tees up our conversation around community, because community is more than just being together, right? And certainly in the virtual environment, we're not even together under one roof. So it invites us to consider, how do we do the togetherness in a more meaningful way that propels people into their highest potential? I think that's really important part of the next segment of our conversation, David.
Yeah, and Mike, that reminds me of the otherness concept that you talked about in the first segment, and that's a great example of somebody taking some action, actually expressing it, not just thinking it, but using your words to help build community. So let's talk about the words that a leader can use. How can a leader influence the sense of community in the organization right now?
Yeah, I think, David, obviously right now we're in a mode where we're intentionally distancing from each other. And we know that the world was already moving there just in our virtual teams and virtual environment and partnerships and outsourcing and everything. But especially today, I think we have to be super intentional about countering the distancing. And, a visual that has come to my mind is just this idea of how can we do a virtual embrace of each other, so to speak. I'm the least huggy guy, okay? But how can I virtually give a person encouragement through my words, support through the vibe that I give them, to help them look up, believe in themselves? That's going to have to be very intentional. It doesn't come naturally for me. Some people it does, but not many, I think. I think for most of us as leaders, we're going to have to be more thoughtful and make that a higher priority, to invest time and to make our conversations very encouraging, very personal, very empathetic. Again, in our best sense as a leader, we're already there. Most of us don't function in that high way all the time. How can we step up into that? How can we make it a higher priority? And how can we use our words to encourage and build up our colleagues and help bring them together through our calls, through our group meetings, through our one-on-ones? And really also not just do it ourselves, but how can we encourage our team members to do that for each other? How can we call them forward? It needs more than us. It needs our team to be encouraging and supporting each other and building each other up. How do we call that and make that a priority for our teams?
Yeah, physical or social distancing doesn't mean emotional distancing, right? In fact, it's one of the unintended results of this. And Sean, because you wanted to add something?
Yeah, somebody asked me earlier this week, "Sean, how do I know if I'm being overly inspirational and comforting and not just getting the stuff done?" And it was really an interesting question, because I wanted to lean in and I wanted to say that it's only through our words and inspiration that the most remarkable stuff gets done, right? In that moment, she, actually, it was the male leader at that point that wanted just to get the stuff done and tell people what to do. But what really the team needed was a sense of encouragement and hope, to believe in themselves that they were indeed good and could do remarkable things.
Yeah, overly inspirational would be a nice problem to have at this point, right?
And it invites the question about frequency, right?
Yeah.
I guess I would almost at this point press leaders and invite leaders to do it to the point where it feels awkward. And it's at that point where it feels awkward that in these times especially, it probably is just enough. And you could probably even do it more for the sake of your team and helping them reach their potential.
Yeah, what feels too much to you may feel like a godsend.
Perfect for somebody else.
Yeah, great stuff. So can you net out this section too, like a call to action or maybe a bottom line? I love the mantra you gave us in segment 1. What's the mantra for community?
Yeah, the mantra for community is that our thoughts alone do not bless, inspire, or encourage people to reach their highest potential. Only our words do that.
Right, and that's everyone's job, not just the leader's job. Thank you so much. Great stuff, Sean and Mike. See you back in segment 3 talking about structure. Thank you.